So I'm back on the S2K restoration project. I couldn't post the last few weeks. I've prepped it off camera, ready for weld. I put a welding blanket on. I removed the passenger seat and wires and everything that was inside. So the full back end is stripped. I'm literally ready to weld. Everything that's rusty, I want it completely gone. Organized everything, and I have a box of spares here. I don't want to see any more rust on this car as long as I have it. Let's begin fabbing and welding. I'll start cutting the inside because it's very rusty and I'm gonna replace everything. So that's the first piece out. The rest of it, I'm just gonna grind it out as much as I can. So I cut the bottom piece out, but the walls are still very rusty. So I'm just going to cut it along this line at the top and replace the full thing basically without changing its position. So after looking at the ones that I have as a spare, I can see that this one has been really butchered. One side is fine, so it would be the inner side, which I could cut out, but this side is way worse than mine. So I think I'm just going to clean this one up and maybe replace this side. I don't want it to shift or anything, so I'll have to take it super slow, especially because it's mostly gone. I'll weld here just a reinforcement piece to hold it in place while I'm welding everything else, and probably attach the crash bar at some point. That's a bit of a bummer. I really thought they're in good condition. Should have checked a little bit better. Like this one is perfect, ready to just put on. No cuts, no butchers, no nothing. So I'll start cleaning this. So what I did is, to get it back in its original position, I used a piece of the cutting disc just so I can fit it in here in the gaps, and then vice grip it together. So when I weld it, it's where it should be. And I'll also attach the crash bar just to be safe after I put a couple more vice grips on the other side. Welding mask on, so I'm gonna start welding it back together. Now it's all spot welded back in place. It's not going anywhere. I'm gonna continue welding it bit by bit so I don't make it wavy. So unfortunately I ran out of gas, but I managed to finish the full chassis leg. It's not the prettiest, but once I'm done with it, it will look like nothing ever happened. This is both sides. A couple days later now, and I'm back on the S2000. I just got the argon gas for the welder, because the last time I just managed to weld this chassis leg and I ran out. Got it now all sorted, and I wanted to post last week, but I couldn't because I didn't have enough content. I'm gonna get started in finishing up the chassis legs, and grinding will be the very last step. I'm gonna try and weld as much as possible. Bought myself 2 sheets of metal. One is 0.8 for the floors and stuff that I need to replace, and one is 1 mil for the structural parts like this chassis leg. I need to make the bottom fabricated, so I'll do it from the 1 mil. I'll take some measurements just to be safe. So only during the editing of this video I've noticed that I have over 2 hours of content with no sound whatsoever, so I'm just going to try and do my best at voiceovers. I didn't have any sheet metal vice grips, so I just used plumber pliers to get my angles. I tack welded it in place so I can begin welding it at each end. I left it overlapping so I can do a 45-degree angle cut and then just weld it in the exact same place. So what I did is I applied a copper layer. I know copper is not as good as zinc, but I just got a really good deal on those and it's fairly similar. So I put everywhere there because it was bare metal since I cleaned it. And I also did a little bit here. Not too much because most of it will come off when I'm grinding the welds. So now I'll just begin welding. Everything is fully welded all around. I know some of it is not pretty. That's why we have a angle grinder. But yeah, that's the first chassis leg finished. It's looking really good. Just need to drill the factory holes. I'm checking it using a spirit level just to make sure nothing has moved. I'm taking the crash bar off again because I'm going to work on the other chassis leg. The 2 bolts that hold the crash bar were seized inside and they were cut off by the previous owner. So I tried it by drilling them out and replaced them, but that didn't work. So I decided to cut along the edges at the top and on the side to remove it and replace it. I also cut from the spares the piece that I needed and tack welded it in place. I installed the crash bar bolts just so I don't damage the inner threads while I'm welding on the outside. Now I'll get started on this side. It's a lot more rustier. You can see it's way worse than the other side. On here is just surface rust, so I think what I'm going to do is just cut the bottom piece and then grind that out. Replace most of this because it's right through pitted and everything. And then on this side, yeah, I have to replace this full front piece. I kind of grind it out to see, and that's basically where I need to cut, and maybe a bit more from here as well, just up to this line. So I don't have to replace much. I had to fully weld down because I was thinking I'm going to replace everything, but then decided that it's not a good idea since the metal is good, so just kept it. And that's what I need to clean now, so let's get to it. So I will start by marking it out roughly where I need it to be, and I can see that it ends around here and it goes all the way to here. So basically this is where I'm going to go up all the way and cut all that out. Keep this, and I'm going to trace a somewhat straight line, just free of hand. I'll fix it later. So that's all going to be cut out. Now that I think about it, I should have just replaced this full piece, you know, when I cut that out. I ran into an issue. I replaced this piece. Yeah, I just cut it and re-welded it in, but the weld was still there and I had to get it off. It's not perfect at the top. I'm still not very happy about it. It doesn't flow the way I wanted to, but I don't have any access with anything. I literally took the Dremel out, all the air tools, and no, just nothing really worked. I'll just leave it as is because when I'm welding it, it will just go back. But the mistake that I made is I'm going to be using this, right? And I cut this piece out of it, but I didn't realize I'm going to need to replace the full piece anyway, so I could have used the full thing, but now that it's in two pieces I can't, so I'll need to weld it on the back, and I mean it will be reinforced, I guess. So now I'm just going to put those pieces on and see exactly what I need, mark it up, and then just cut it. Going to drill that out. I want to save it because it's in very good condition, just a little bit of rust, and I have the other one as well that I'm going to keep. So this is it, marked, cut, cleaned up, all the rust gone. This is exactly what I need. It's a little bit bigger, so I will trim it once I put it on the car just to mock it up. So this is how it fits. As I said, it's a little bit bigger. I'm going to remove the crash bar just so I have a little bit more access and more room as it's in my way. And then I'll weld this in. I remove the crash bar now, and I just realized that I wasted an hour cleaning this area for no reason, because I could have just removed it, cut along this edge, and then just put the new piece in. So I'll be doing that now, but it happens, you learn from mistakes. So once again, I found out that my mic decided to die. What a surprise. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I got a lot of it done. I'm almost finished with the chassis legs. Moving on to the next parts next week. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, share, follow. You know what to do. Everything. See you. Bye.